we're back with another one. Man, it's been a busy week, man. As I'm just really out testing my gear indicator as well. I had to reprogram it after I installed the speedo healer, and it seems to be working right now. So I'm in 4th gear. I don't know if you guys, how good you can see, but it's kind of bright outside today, but got things to do. The only time I can really catch a ride in. But okay, 5th. Okay, so we're good. 6. All right, so we're all good. We go back down. All right, so that worked out. And when I was reading the directions, it did say if you install a speedo healer, you're gonna have to reprogram. So that was just me not being, you know, smart. I did put my seat cowl on. It looks really cool. I actually have another one coming. This black one is going to be for when I change the whole bike. But I do have a red one now. It's supposed to be coming too. But you know, things coming from China, it takes a while sometimes. That one came first. Surprisingly, that one I ordered off of AliExpress, and the red one I ordered off of eBay. So yeah, I'm just out catching a nice ride. Really wanted to talk to you guys about beginner bikes, and because you know I've watched so many people, so many moto vlogs, and it's just like, you know, some people like to start on bigger bikes. Especially too, since I know people who started off on bigger bikes, and you know, is it necessary to start on a smaller bike? My personal opinion is that I'm glad I started on a smaller bike, only because I mean, I was pretty good with throttle control, and I feel like I'm pretty good with this bike. But I remember when I first started to ride this bike, and I don't want to say that because it's the different throttle feels, but I just had to make sure I didn't pull this one as much as my 500. You know, you're pulling that one a little more to go faster when you don't have to pull this one as much to go as fast or faster, you know. Other than that too, the weight, even though my 500 is pretty heavy for a beginner bike, or I don't want to, like I said, I don't want to call it a beginner bike, but a bike that you can begin on pretty much. Yeah, my 500 is about 420 pounds, 20-ish pounds. This is about 100 pounds more than it. This is not so bad to move around, and when you get going, it doesn't feel heavy at all. So I can't say that I would drop this bike or anything like that. If that's the case, I would have said my 250. You know, remember I started from a 250 for real, so. That bike I almost dropped, and it took me everything I had to make sure it didn't drop, and it didn't, you know, so that was my fault anyway. Yeah, it's how I feel is like I'm glad I started on the 500, and I'm glad I started riding a passenger on that bike too as well. You know, I've learned a lot from that bike, and I'm still learning from that bike. This bike, I'm learning different technique. I mean, it's all the same, but since it is a heavier bike, the hydraulic clutch is different. You know, just things were different compared to my 500, and I had to get used to that when riding it. So, but I do believe that you can start on anything, you know. I think it's just the maturity level and how fast you learn and how fast you can pick things up. I know me, I'm a fast learner, but I just didn't want to jump the gun. And like I said, I feel like my choice was good getting a 500. This bike, I can say the skills that I learned with my 500 do help me with this bike, definitely. Just with shifting, and there's a lot of things, you know, but I will say the shifting is different since it is a hydraulic clutch. Friction zone is different. You just gotta, you know, if you can't be intimidated or afraid, you just gotta get on and just go, you know, and just, you'll feel it. How when I first rode this bike or test rode it, it wasn't the biggest bike heaviest bike I've ridden. Yes, it is probably the heaviest bike, because there are bikes that are bigger displacement than my 500 that weigh less than it. So weight doesn't really mean that much when it comes to, you know, displacement. So yeah, I definitely recommend people to just do what you feel is right. And if you feel like you're gonna outgrow a smaller CC, then, you know, I would definitely consider getting a big enough bike, at least a 500 or above. I can't say if you outgrow a Ninja 400. I've never ridden a Ninja 400, so I don't know how it feels, how the torque feels. I'm just going off of numbers, and the torque numbers for the 500 are, you know, higher than the Ninjas. So I'm just only assuming if it's not as much as the 500, you're probably going to get tired of it. But the 500 is a great bike to keep for long term, you know, because it can go over 100 if you want, but it's the torque that it gives you up to 100 that I like. No comparing it to this, you know. This is a completely different bike. This is like having like two bikes in one. So if you're a beginner, especially these model years, and I believe the newer ones, the VTEC shift is a lot different. So, you know, that's different. The VTEC shift on this, I mean, you can feel the kick, and it feels really cool. I am getting a Power Commander 5 for it, so stay tuned on that. I pretty much already ordered it, so I'm gonna be doing an install on it. Let's go. So yeah, I'm just going a different way today. But yeah, so if you watch me and you if you just started on a bike, I would get something that I think I can handle, you know. Like, I think parallel twins are probably one of the best bikes to probably start on, you know. Like how they say the SV650, or, you know, any type of parallel twin, because the power is kind of linear. And when it comes to like V4s or inline 4s, it's different type of power. So yeah, guys, it's getting, I mean, it's, the weather is changing a little bit in Florida, not really. It's still hot. Like today is what, 86 degrees. So, you know, you know me, man, I'm riding all year. I'm riding in the winter, because we're getting, my winter is like your guys' spring, you know. So I will say, update on my fan, my secondary fan. It does help. It does help. My temperatures hasn't gone up over 220 when it's stop and go. When it's normal riding like this, it'll be down at like 180 something, you know. But anytime it's stop and go traffic, a lot hotter. But you know, and that's one thing about having being a beginner on a bike too, is maintenance. I wanted to get a newer bike for me personally, because I didn't want to have to start off dealing with fixing stuff, and that's why I got this bike, to learn more about working on motorcycles and just taking things apart and do. I didn't want to do that on a a new bike that's reliable, because that bike, that Honda is reliable, man. I mean, I'm at like 3,800 miles on it, but it hasn't given me any problems. I've done all the oil changes I've needed to. Actually, I had to just order some more Honda oil, some GN4 oil for both of them. This one I put more 20W50 in, since it does get hotter, and I mixed the 10W40 with the 20W50 for my CBR, but let's just say I put less 20W50 in that one than I do this one. So yeah, it's just a different type of torque. Like, I've gotten the front wheel up on it before, and that was interesting. I didn't have it on camera, but it felt fun. But this almost has double the torque of my Honda CBR 500R, so, you know, and that bike to me still has, you know, plenty of power for me. So I just got this bike at a great deal, pretty much less than what I sold my other two bikes for, so it all worked out, you know. And since it's winter times, but like I said, Florida's a little different, I was still looking around for bikes, you know. Man, it's like, but I was gonna look for one where I can fix up and sell. I thought about thinking I wanted to sell this bike, but I'm like, because I can make a profit on it, but I really like it, and it's kind of this one of a kind, I guess. It's not like you can just go and get this anywhere, you know. Like I said, my only other one I seen is still posted actually on Facebook Marketplace for $3,500, and it has 28,000 miles on it. And like I said, I got this one for like $1,200 less than that, with 16,000 miles on it, with not really, I think they thought they had some issues with the battery and the charging and stuff like that, but after I installed the VF harness, my charging of the battery has been so much better. I actually have an extra battery for it, a gel battery. I need to put that in too. But yeah, so my advice to anyone that wants to get a bigger bike, or think they can want to start on a bigger bike, you need to look at yourself and know how mature you are. If you know you're not that mature, or you're gonna mess around and be a fool, and you're just starting, then get a smaller bike. But to me, then it comes to funds, because if, let's say you have funds to get a bigger bike, sometimes it doesn't make sense to get a smaller bike, then sell it to get a bigger bike. But when you're talking about your life, it's a little different, you know. Like I said, for me, I'm glad I started on a smaller bike. It's just, you know, when I got on this bike, I just felt much more confident from my just experience of riding my 500, you know. So yeah, I basically turn my fan off when I get back on the road again, because I don't need it when it's, you know, I'm getting air. So how it works, you know, the air comes through and it blows out through the sides. That's how it gets to, you know, the radiator. But anyway, yeah, that's pretty much what I wanted to talk about today. And I think you guys get me. I think you feel me. You know where I'm coming from. I don't want to just say, hey, start on a big bike and that's what. Nah, I'm gonna give you guys my personal experience and what I thought was right for me. It might not be for you. Like I said, my friend that rides the 600, he started on that and he's been good on it. He's ready for a bigger bike, you know. It's just but if he would have got a smaller bike, he would have outgrew it real easy, and it was just like, it wouldn't have been like, it would have been a waste of money for him, you know. So that's why I say everybody's different, and you just got to accept who you are and go with it. Don't let anybody pressure you into doing what you think is not right for you, you know. So yeah, looks it's gonna rain. That easy, just that easy. So yeah, can't wait till I install the power commander on it and see how it feels. And then eventually I'm gonna get it dyno tuned. So, you know, why not? You know, I feel like this is a bike that can last for a long time, especially if I take care of it. I might do that to my 500R as well, get a power commander and dyno tune it as well, but I'm gonna do this one first. This is the older one, you know. This is the bigger brother. So it is what it is. But yeah, guys, appreciate you riding with me. I'm definitely getting on my CBR tomorrow morning. At least I'm supposed to. We'll see how it goes. Life always changes, and you know. But I will say my gear indicator is working properly, so that's good. People don't know how to use a roundabout. You hear that VTEC? Anytime it gets over 7,000, I don't know if you guys ever heard it, but like pretty much look where I'm at now. Pay attention to how it's sounding. Now watch when I go over 7. Sometimes it's hard to hear, but sometimes you'll just hear it just right. Like, I'll watch my videos back and I hear it because I know the distinction. But yeah, this bike is definitely like having two bikes in one. It's so cool. But anyway, guys, appreciate you riding with me as always, and I'll be back with another one. Peace.